Hello, second grade. We have a new project that we are starting today. We are actually going to be drawing and coloring a landscape. And this video is to show you how to make a landscape super duper easy. Trust me, this is not a hard drawing to do at all, as long as you follow along with the steps. Now mine just looks like a nice little landscape with some mountains and the sun. But what you are allowed to do is you can add any other details that you want. You can change some things. It's entirely up to you. So this week, we are just going to draw it. Next week, we're going to move into outlining it, and then we're going to start coloring it as well. So you're going to need a piece of paper. It does not matter what kind of paper you use. And you're also going to need a pencil for today. Now, my paper is super big, so I'm going to see if I can extend my camera so you can see a little bit more of it. And that's about as high up as I can get. So the first thing that you're going to do to your paper is you're going to draw something called the horizon line. The horizon line is the horizontal line in the middle of your paper, and what it actually is the furthest that your eyes can see. If you've ever been to the beach and you looked out on the water, you can see where the water ends and the sky starts. That's not a real line. If you ever tried to swim out to the horizon line, you would never get there because your vision keeps moving further and further and further. So you never actually get there. It's that line that your eyes create because it can't see any further than that point. So we just simply, with light pressure, just take our pencil and draw right across the paper. Nothing too crazy. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the mountains. So over here on the side of your paper, you're going to go up and then come back down. My mountain isn't super perfect, but mountains aren't super perfect in real life, so that's perfect. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of overlapping, meaning we're gonna make it look like the second mountain is behind the first mountain. So instead of starting our mountain right here, I'm actually gonna start our mountain right here, and I'm going to make it shorter. And by doing this, it makes it look like this mountain is behind this mountain because it's shorter and it's overlapping the first mountain. And now for your mountains, you can add snow-capped mountains, you could turn it into a volcano, you can turn it into an Egyptian pyramid. It's really up to you. I like making snow caps on my mountain because I like the snow. I don't think I'd ever like to live in the snow, but I like looking at snow. After you create your mountains, you're gonna put your sun in between your two mountains. And if you want your sun in the corner, you can make it in the corner. If you want it to be nighttime, you can make a moon. It's up to you. Then I'm gonna add some clouds. You don't have to add clouds if you don't want to. It's up to you. I'm gonna add 2. You can also add things in the sky. Like if you wanna make birds, because the horizon line is here, and the mountains are here, we can't make our birds life-size. So we have to make our birds kind of like that, little V's, if you want birds. And the last thing we're gonna do to the top half of this paper is draw some little bushes. And these actually are not bushes. These are forests at the mountain's edge. And they just look like bushes because they're so far away we can't draw the details. And with that, we are done with the top half of this drawing. All that's left is the bottom half. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create that river next. The river is gonna go in between the two mountains, so it's gonna start here. You're gonna draw a curved line going all the way down to the edge. And because our river is in front of us up here and really far away from us over here, as we draw our second line, it's going to get further and further away from the first line you drew, like this. So now the river's in front of you, and as you look back, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And remember, it's not really getting smaller. Our eyes just are making it look smaller. Once you draw your river, you can add details into your river like watermarks. You can turn your river into a bottomless ravine. You can turn it into the Rainbow Road from Mario. You can turn it into the ice cream river, anything you want. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a tree right here and a tree right here. The tree that goes here will be smaller, and the tree that goes here will be bigger. So the way I draw my trees, it's very simple. I draw 2 curved lines, just like that, and remember it's small because the tree is further back. I draw some zigzags at the bottom because that's the grass, and then I draw a V in between my 2 curved lines, just like that. That's my tree trunk. Then I draw some scalloped lines here, and then I draw a big afro around the tree. And that's my tree. And if you'd like, you can use some lines inside your tree bark to give it some texture. And you can really add anything you want to your tree, honestly. You can make it a Christmas tree, you can make it the cotton candy trees, anything you want. Over here, this tree is going to be life-size because it's the tree that's right in front of us. So I'm gonna draw only half of it. I'm gonna draw my curved line. Remember, this tree is in front of us, and trees are bigger than people most of the time. So we have to make sure that we're drawing it big. So there's my 1 curved line. I've got part of my V, and it looks like I'm gonna have to erase a lot of this, but let me draw my tree's afro first. So everything that is inside of my tree needs to be erased. This will show that the tree is in front of us and the mountains are behind the tree in the background. Oops, I hit my camera. And then if you erase something that was for your tree, you just redraw it. And again, you can add lines to give your tree some texture. And if you want to put fruit in the tree, birds in the tree, everything you draw in this tree can be life-size because this tree is right in front of you. Now, there's only 2 more things to draw. We're going to draw grass and some flowers. The way I draw my grass is pretty fun. I start right here and I draw crazy zigzag lines, just like this, going all different directions. And when you look at it, it looks like grass. I don't draw any in my river because there's no grass in my river. So I go on the other side and I draw more zigzag lines. Now you can do flowers on either side. I'm gonna put a nice little flower right here. And I'm gonna put a rose. The way you draw a rose is you draw 2 lines for the stem, a U with a top, and then a spiral. That's how I make a rose. Very, very simple. At this point, you can add any other details you want to your picture. You can add little lines to show that it's the grass. I think these make a nice touch. You can add more trees if you want. You can add things up here, but just make sure the horizon line is where things get the smallest. So anything you draw closest to the horizon line is going to be small. Everything that you draw further away from the horizon line, meaning in the foreground, is going to be bigger. Bigger here, and as you go back and back and back, it gets smaller, and then everything in the background is going to be small because that's all far away. And that is your drawing. We will continue this when I see you guys next week. See you later.